webinar to you guys today on 4 ways to finish strong. With us, we have Jeffrey Brown, who is the Education and Webinar Manager for GoDaddy. And Jeffrey has been a wonderful partner of TRA for several years now, even before GoDaddy acquired his last company. He's very, very resourceful, is always very entertaining whenever he presents knowledge. And I'm so excited that he's going to be with us for this one. And this is actually the first of 3 webinars that we're going to be presenting together, which is awesome. So we have some really great ones coming up, including one on e-commerce that I think is going to be amazing. And after this, Jeffrey was saying that he's going to make sure that everyone who is registered for this webinar will also receive a free ebook resource, either on advertising or on social media and how to maximize that. Just a reminder as well, this is being recorded. Thank you, Jeffrey, for recording that. And if you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to add those to the Q&A window or the chat window. Talk with each other if you'd like, present some other ideas that you've seen work really well. That would be great. Whenever this is over, we will post the recording and make sure you all see it too. I know I got several emails and texts from friends and contacts in the industry, Jeffrey, earlier today, making sure that we're going to record this because some of them were not going to be able to make it, but definitely want to use this knowledge later. So I will turn it over to you, but I will interject, I'm sure, several times during the presentation to ask for more clarification or another question that we might have. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for being with us.
Yes, thank you, Anna, so much. And more importantly, thank all of you that are here. I'm so pumped that I get to share like what I've been learning throughout this whole year, but also some great ways that I know that all of you can start strong as well in 2021 as well. So not only are we going to finish strong in 2020, but we're going to also, carry a little bit of this knowledge. We're going to take this into 2021 as well. So 4 ways to finish strong on social media. So like Anna said, my name is Jeffrey Brown. I am the webinar manager at GoDaddy, GoDaddy Social. We're formerly Main Street Hub. So we've been around for about 10 years, coming to different events, hanging out with all of you, sharing webinars, sharing great content that I hope you all are going to enjoy today, as well as I'm going to drop my email. So any questions that y'all might have, also feel free to hit me up. That's what I'm here for as well, as a resource for all of you. So today we have 4 talking points that we're going to really go through. More importantly, like Anna said, make this conversational. If you have a question or you need me to clarify something or go over something a little bit further, let me know. This 45 minutes to an hour, this is all about y'all. So I'm excited to be here. But the agenda today is going to break down in a couple of different ways, and more importantly, in some foundational ways as well. So some of these things you might say, well, Jeffrey, we've learned these, but I definitely want to make sure that you're covering your basics, but then taking these basics and adding a little bit more flair to them as well. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is how to create crave-worthy content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, I get this question a lot, is anyone on Twitter? And I'm not gonna lie, it really depends on your business. If your customer's on Twitter, if you search Twitter, you do an advanced search, and you're finding great hashtags that you can interject in, have conversations on, use Twitter. But I'm gonna be honest, you don't have to be on every single social media site. Just because this restaurant is doing this special doesn't mean it's gonna necessarily work at your business as well. Every business is different, but everyone comes to your business because they love being there. They love being together. They love the camaraderie of your local business. Now, next, we're going to jump into how to use video content to actually connect with new and existing customers. Now, you can raise your hand. You can say we are in the chat box, but I would love to really know who is actually using video content right now. And that can stem all the way to Instagram stories, IGTV, maybe YouTube. Maybe you've shot some commercials. Maybe you're putting them on your social media sites. Maybe you're using YouTube. Let us know. Now, also, one of my favorites, and I feel like a great pillar, especially for small businesses, especially for the hospitality industry, is customer service. And one thing that I really, really think that we tend to forget about as business owners is, you already have your audience in the palm of your hand. That's the cell phone. If you want to make sure you're getting engaged with your customers, you need to make sure that everything is not only mobilized, but also that you're engaging on these social media sites. And more importantly, you're showing that great customer service online, just like you would in person. So really growing that community, really fostering that community through great customer service. And last but not least, foolproofing your advertising strategy without breaking the bank. The thing I love about advertising, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on Instagram, is it doesn't cost, millions of dollars just to get a great post out there, just to get some reach. It can cost as little as $5 a day. So definitely make sure that you're not breaking the bank. You actually have a strategy that's going to work in place for you, before you dip into those dollars, to make sure that you're getting the most out of your strategy, whether that's a paid strategy, whether that's you doing an advertisement, maybe you're hiring for some new staff for the holiday season. So we definitely want to make sure that we're going to take you through these top 4 ways that we've seen through GoDaddy Social throughout this year, to make sure that you're going to end the year strong and go into the year even stronger. So, to kick things off, create crave worthy content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So, I love to ask this question. It's one of my favorite ones. How many of us are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter right now? And you can raise your hands. You can let us know in the chat box if you are. So let us know. We would really love to see that in the chat box. How many of you are on, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Okay, few of us. Okay, good. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're thinking about your content, remember, you're not just thinking about content that's just going to serve your business. You're thinking about those future customers as well. But you also have to think about those current customers, because you want to keep them coming in, you want to keep them ordering, you want to keep them picking up at curbside, what have you. So definitely make sure that you're going to craft an effective social media content strategy. And we're going to get into this in just a little bit, but you also have to know your audience. And to know your audience, you also have to learn about your social media metrics as well. So really, there's a lot of things that go into it, but we're just going to start with the basics right now. But one of the first things you want to do is learn from the previous year's strategy. So if this didn't work for you last year, why would you try this again? And when I talk to local business owners, that's one question I get a lot is, how can we make a great social media strategy better than the one that we did the year before? My biggest tip for you is you can actually go back and look at your post and your social media insights. One thing is to actually start a calendar. Keep a calendar of what you're actually posting on your social media sites. And I know this might take a little bit of work, but you can do this once a week, whenever you would like. But keep a log of the engagement that you're getting on your social media sites on different posts, whether that's holidays, whether that's National Burger Day, National Taco Day, Cinco de Mayo, you got Christmas, Black Friday. Keep a log of those important days that you might get higher engagement or when you're posting, and make sure that you compare that to the next year, because you don't want to make a repeat. So you definitely want to make sure you're looking at what's going to work for you and what's not working for you. Now, one thing that you also want to look at is how to refine your target market, and especially with the holidays coming up. And now more than ever, since more of us are shopping online, we might be looking to restaurants, to figure out more catering options. Maybe those are those happy hour drinks to go, or those drink kits, because we don't, of course, want to drink and drive. Yes, there's Uber, but you definitely want to make sure that you're looking at what type of customer do you really want to come into your business, to use your services, to use your products for the upcoming year. So not only that, but definitely for the holidays. So making sure that you tap into that, but also making sure that you're looking at what's working for your business and what's not working for your business. Sorry. So just like we talked about earlier, and I saw earlier, some people are like, oh, I'm only on Facebook only. Well, if you're on Facebook only right now, make sure you're amping it up just a little bit around the holidays. Maybe you're posting a little more frequently. Maybe you're getting into more video content. Maybe you're adding more stories. Now, we just went over this a little bit. Draft that social media strategy on paper. I think about my mom when I think about this, and I don't know if any of y'all still do this. When you go to the bank and you get like those calendars, and when I was a kid, I used to get the lollipops. I would always end up getting the yellow one, never my favorite. But she still gets those paper calendars. And my parents, they just moved up to a small town in Northeast Georgia. So they're like, oh yeah, they still get those little calendars. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing with those? She still uses them to this day to make out her schedule, like any appointments she might have. So she has a million calendars flying everywhere. Don't be like my mom, but just have one calendar, whether that's your Google Calendar, your iPhone, your Android, making sure that you're writing out this strategy and making sure that you're coming up with the best content strategy you can. Next, you're going to go per your usual. You want to make sure you're writing up your post, you're looking at your graphics, but most importantly, schedule everything in advance. And this is a little bit of advice. With Facebook, you can actually schedule your posts ahead of time. You can schedule them in advance. So make sure that you take notation of that. More importantly, don't be afraid to use scheduling apps. You have Hootsuite, you have Sprout Social, you have Feedly, really make sure that you use these apps. You're a business owner. You didn't start your business just to dive into content. Yes, you might take great pictures and your customers may love you, but at the same time, you still have that business to run. So definitely make sure if you can free up any time that you can, make sure that you do so. So your content calendar, and you can take a screenshot, but also note, we're gonna send a copy out of this as well. These are just some holidays, and these are also hashtag holidays as well that you can use, but also important holidays that you should be looking at for November and December. So when you think about it, we just had what, National Hamburger Day? There's so many national food days that it's insane. I feel like every day they're like, oh, National Donut Day, it's National Calzone Day. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't think calzones need their own day. I mean, this is probably blasphemous, but like it's a sandwich, you guys. It's fine. But I do think also if you are receiving the emails from TRA, we regularly ask people, especially if you're restaurant owners, if you fit into any of the National Food Day holidays, we want to promote you too. So if you are perhaps if you're from Perini Ranch and it's like National Steak Day, we definitely want to see those pictures from Perini so we can repost them too. So be on the lookout because we're always trying to re-promote anyone that's doing one of these national food days too. And we have a list of all the national food holidays, which I'll make available to everyone who's registered for this too.
Awesome. Hey, there you go. And the great thing is about these holidays is they're so much fun. So you definitely want to make sure that, you're looking into these holidays, you're getting excited for them because they're loads and loads of fun. Now, the next thing that you want to look at is, of course, we're planning ahead. So I love this. The Devil's Advocate will open up at 9:45 for Sunday football. Everyone loves football. Football is great, especially on Sundays, when you can go back into the bar, you can have fun, you can hang out. So you definitely want to make sure that you're planning ahead, you're getting excited because the more that you know, the more that you can share on your social media sites. Like I said, the more time that you can save. So definitely make sure you're diving into this as well. Um, so that's just going to be one of those great things that you can do. But more importantly, it's going to help you stay top of mind. It's going to make your life, I dare I say it, easier. So building your brand. Building your brand also takes note of you having to know your audience. So you want to make sure you're adding tons and tons of personality. And I'm going to get into this in just a little bit. The biggest way that you can add personality is really leaning into your customers for user-generated content. That's going to be one of your biggest things. So definitely make sure that exactly. I saw that somebody put National Pizza Days every day. It is. National Calzones too. Love calzones. Sorry, Anna. But you definitely want to make sure, just like in Diego Pops right here, look at them. They're really lending their voice, their creativity, and it pops. I think some businesses, they get into the mood now with Instagram. They're like, oh, my restaurant isn't Instagrammable. It's not that a business isn't Instagrammable. You have to think about, are your customers taking pictures? Because if they are, then it is Instagrammable. So you need to lean into your user-generated content, and you can use pictures like these to make sure that your content's popping. More importantly, when they see that you're reposting your customers' content, it's going to make them feel even more in tune with your brand as well. So
So
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
I had a question. Yeah, Jeffrey, but if, because there are a lot of restaurants that we've seen open even during the pandemic that do, really focus on making their restaurants Instagrammable. And for some of them, it's including ones that have already existed,
Mhm.
Instagrammable sometimes means just like thinking about, easy new additions like paper placemats and stuff like that, because that can easily elevate things without a lot of investment, without having to, repaint everything or do a mural or any of that stuff. Like, what are some other ways that restaurants can make themselves Instagrammable without a huge budget?
So if you don't have a huge budget, I think the biggest thing is think about the customers that you already have that are coming to your business day in and day out. The ones that are always taking pictures, the ones that are, leaving great reviews maybe.
Yeah.
Reshare that type of content on your social media sites, or even things like this. If you want to be more Instagrammable, stand on a chair, take some picture of your food, get like a good, get different angles for your shots. I'm not a photographer by any means. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But what I do love to do is, take different angles of my food, my friends, like, whenever we're doing pictures, things like that. So it's really just about you taking some time, maybe one of your employees just messing around with the camera and kind of finding different angles that really work for your business and different areas that are going to really help your business shine. Maybe that's a certain area of your restaurant that couples love to sit, or it's a great view, or, it's a family table, or you have this one dish that's famous, that people love to eat. Get people to send in their favorite photos of that actual dish, and, and share that. Maybe it's potato salad, it's Potato Salad Tuesday, or, it's Taco Tuesday. So they're sending in their favorite tacos. That's how you really get people to reshare content. And more importantly, that's all for free. And you're just asking your customers. So just like this. So when you think about it, and I know Valentine's Day is a ways away, but if you think about this post, they could reuse this post again. And I did this on purpose because picking up dinner for a romantic dinner at home, check. But not everyone has a partner on Valentine's Day. So when you're thinking about planning ahead, when you're thinking about finishing the year strong, try to also rethink about reusing that content as well, just like this. More importantly, hey, this is another way for you to use user-generated content as well. Now, just like this, diversify your content. You want to post different things. And remember, you don't want that content to get stale. And as you can see, this is kind of like a boomerang in a video right here. So don't be afraid to post updates about your business. Thank your customers, celebrate those unofficial holidays. But my biggest and most honest advice I can give everyone that's on this webinar today is don't get comfortable with your content. Don't get comfortable with it. More importantly, spice it up a little bit. Make it rich, make it fun. Put color into your picture as well. I love this picture right here on the right because they use this yellow table right here. It's one of my favorites. If you have a bright table, use that. Go outside and take your pictures. More importantly, really make sure that you're diversifying your content and you're posting consistently on your social media sites. And remember, with Instagram, you might be posting a couple of times a day, but you also want to make sure it's going to be that rich, engaging content as well. And just like on Twitter, tweet, tweet, tweet. Twitter is one of those things where you have to post multiple times in one day. And yes, I'm not joking, you really do. You have to post multiple times in one day because if you don't, then that conversation is not there. So you have to inspire and you have to attract the conversation on Twitter. And that sometimes is hard. But what I love about Twitter is it's great for educational pieces. It's great for blogs. It's great for videos. It's great for how-tos. It's great for immediate customer service as well sometimes. So whatever you really like about your content, make sure that you're really putting that out there. More importantly, on Twitter, you're talking more as well. It's like that constant conversation that you have to have. And again, with diversifying your content, I wanted to allude to a couple of these things, especially with Olive and Ivy. They said the lunch you're dreaming of, order using the link below, making sure they have that great call to action right here. And really what I love about these is when I'm talking about diversifying your content in this section, this is more about their calls to action, like waiting for bruschetta, and they also use this great and amazing user-generated content example as well. And then escape the ordinary with every bite for our 3-course Arizona restaurant menu for only $44 per person. So giving you that call to action, they're letting you know what's going on. See more, you can click, you can find out more information. So definitely make sure that you're not only diversifying your content, but you're making your content shareable, you're making it engaging, and more importantly, you're being that authoritative figure in your industry just like you are. If you're the business owner, you probably know restaurants, food, inside and out. You know how to entertain people, you know how to make them feel welcome, you know how to paint that overall experience. So really paint that picture for your audience because that's what you're doing. You're really painting that experience on your social media sites. And I love what this winery did right here. They used a link from Wine Enthusiast. And I love this. This is how to not to beat that guy at a tasting room. And we've all been in a tasting room. We've all seen that person not know what they're doing. So, if you have customers that come in, maybe you're a winery, maybe you serve wine at your restaurant, maybe you do tastings, this could be a great link to share on your Twitter page, your Facebook. Remember, you're not making it about your business, but you're making it about how your business helps people. And yes, restaurants help people. They bring people together. I think some of my favorite memories that I've had, and no one judge me, is at restaurants. I love to eat, don't judge me, but is at restaurants. That's where I come together with my friends, my family. Some of my favorite memories are shared. So definitely make sure you're diversifying your content because you, as restaurants, as bars, as hotels, as the hospitality industry, you're painting that picture for experience. You're painting that picture for where people can escape to and have a great time.
Don't worry, no one is going to judge you for liking restaurants. You are
Good.
company.
I'm in the right spot, so I love it. So great. So another thing that you want to look at is your holiday content ideas. So one thing you want to look at is how you can diversify your holiday content. Really make sure that your holiday content is going to be festive. Ask people what they're doing for this upcoming season, especially with COVID going on. You have more people staying at home. I'm going to say this again. With COVID going on, you have more people staying at home. So restaurants, this is a great time for you to plug and talk about maybe your catering options. You know, Thanksgiving time, I don't want to cook all that food. Do you have a way that you can help me? Let your audience know. Remember, it's selling if you tell them, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. You do this, we'll give you X amount off. That's selling. But when you paint that picture, you paint that experience for them. When you have that turkey that's already glazed and ready, maybe it's in a box for people to pick up, you're saying, hey, half the work is done. That's not you selling, that's you socially selling. And more importantly, that's you giving social customer care. You're letting your audience know what's going on. You're letting them know what's in the know. And that's you staying top of mind as well. So using video content to connect with new and existing customers. So how many of us have actually used video content? And I want everyone, you can raise your hand. We're going to take a few seconds right here, but I want people to, let me know if you've used video content and also what kind of video content. Let me know YouTube, Instagram stories, and put that in the chat box.
I just wanted to say, Jeffrey, while people are adding to the chat box to show like what kind of videos they're using, I have received so many different plugs on, or seen so many different plugs on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook from restaurants here in Austin that are doing Thanksgiving, right? Like, so you can buy your turkeys and everything. It looks just stunning, and it makes me wonder, like, maybe I should just buy from a restaurant instead of cooking. Uh, Absolutely.
No, exactly. And I love, come on, eat local, eat often. Yes, I'm eating local. And yes, I'm eating often. So no one has to worry about that. I'm being fed. Um, the big thing, and like you said, do you just want to skip, doing it all and, just let the restaurant take care of it? I'm in that same boat. And so I definitely feel you. I've seen like Laundrette. I've seen so many businesses here in Austin do it. So I'm like, Jeffrey, it'll just be easy. Yeah, you're gonna be paying a little bit more, but at the same time, it's gonna save me so much time.
Whatever. Think about like all the paper products you don't have to buy, right? And like you
Right?
don't have to clean up afterward. So
True.
I am absolutely placing, I'm going to do a plug right now for local restaurant. I am going to be ordering a brisket from J&L on Riverside. That is absolutely where I'm going to be getting the brisket. I know. And we're a Texas family, so we eat brisket for Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm originally from Georgia, so we're all about ham or turkey. So I think we usually have both. I think my
Yeah.
mom also makes a roast. But anyways, that's here nor there. Um, so content ideas for video. Love this. It's National Moscow Mule Day. How many of us celebrated like National Wine Day, maybe Moscow Mule Day, National Beer Day? And another question on that, some of you are probably like, yeah, we did. How many of y'all have like that one bartender, that one server, that one cook that you feel like would be great on camera, or that just has like a personality that just shines through? Whenever they're working, it's going to be a great shift. Everyone's going to be enjoying themselves. When I think about video content, and I get asked this question a lot. What if my employees are shy? I bet y'all do not have any shy employees. Maybe some of you do. But if you have one of those employees that are loud, I always was when I worked in the restaurant. That's why I always was too loud, I think. But get that loud person and put them in front of the camera. Because when you do that, and especially if they have like a semi good following on social media, they're going to let their friends know. They're gonna be like, hey, my boss put me in front of the camera, decided to let me make, drinks for, Thanksgiving cocktails, to serve before your Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just giving out ideas here. I'm just saying. And and you can, and that's something that you can do with your employees, because as a business owner, you might not have time to set all that up for yourself. But if you have a trusted bartender, someone that's going to be great in front of the camera, ask them to do that. If there's like some slow times, ask them to film like, some great cocktail drinks to have during the holidays right now. And you can upload that to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. And so that gives them something to do during that, maybe that little downtime they might have. More importantly, it puts you in that authoritative position as a business owner and as a business that, hey, you know how to make great cocktails out of, what you're usually slinging for your customers. So,
Right.
that Moscow Mule, that, dare I say it, that mulled wine. Became a huge fan of mulled wine when I moved to Texas. No idea why. Um, but definitely make sure, that you're leaning into these different types of videos to get the most out of your content. And more importantly, the more that you switch it up, the more your customers are going to be coming back saying, hey, we love that video that you did. Or customer testimonials. Have y'all ever just got your camera and just started filming your customers, well, pre-COVID, while they're eating? I forget where I was, and somebody was like, how do you like our food? And I'm like, I'm eating, but it's great. And I couldn't stop smiling, but it was fun. So
Yeah.
definitely have fun with your video.
Well, and do you mind if I jump in real quick,
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
go
too?
for
There
it.
was a really good question from Matt in the chat. And by the way, you guys that are posting in the chat window, make sure that when you're doing the two, that it says panelists and attendees so everyone can see it, because we're seeing a lot of chatter, but a lot of it is just coming straight to Jeffrey and I, and there's a lot more texting going on, and we want everyone to be able to see it. And yeah,
Exactly.
Tony, I feel you. A Moscow Mule right about now sounds amazing. But anyway, so Matt had a question. He says that they're an architecture and interiors firm, a
Hmm.
service business that serves other businesses, right? B2B. And most
Hmm.
of their content features projects that they create for their clients. So it often seems to focus more on the customer's brands than their own. And he's asking for any recommendations on how to deal with that, and basically how to market B2B versus direct to consumer. And Matt, as someone who works in, for the Texas Restaurant Association, we absolutely do that too. What we try to do is whenever we're doing video or posts is we'll include like our logo in the bottom corner, just so people can also see that it is associated with us too. And that's really helpful. But then also like Jeffrey had on the slide just before this, he was talking about sort of behind the scenes sort of employee
Hmm.
stories. And that is a really great way to show people your personality too. Jeffrey, what else
That
do you think?
So that's one of the big things I was going to say is like if you do trainings, if you do like, well, of course, now with COVID, I know the things are a little bit different, but the biggest thing that I love about business to business marketing is they're behind the scenes, like a day in the life. Maybe they're also giving one of their clients, like a restaurant, maybe they're doing like a day in the life of their owner or their manager, or, what it's like to actually run a restaurant. But one big thing that I do love is like the owner of the group, actually doing Q&As. Or if y'all have ever seen, like, I think it's the 72 questions on Vogue and how they follow the person around and they're asking just all these random questions and they're like getting ready for their day or they're doing things like that. But the biggest thing when it comes to B2B marketing is being your authentic and true self. And that's really showing, like Anna said, more behind the scenes, answering some questions, doing big things like that because they want to know more about why they want to work with your business and why you should represent their restaurant. So I think that's like a bigger question. So they want to know more about you, what you love, what you're into, your favorite restaurants to go to, your favorite local spot to go get brisket or, some homemade biscuits or anything like that. So I think this goes for anyone, B2B, B2C, be your true authentic self. And that's going to get you further than, buying your followers, which I absolutely suggest not doing at all. Do not buy your followers. Make sure they're true and organic and real. Another way that you can also not only gain more followers and maybe gain more clients, but also make sure that you're sharing more educational videos as well. So of course, with some businesses that opening, some businesses, are still curbside, it differs. You always want to make sure that you're also letting your audience know what you're actually doing inside of your business as well. You're probably thinking, oh, we don't need to share that all with them, but you do. The more authentic and forthcoming you are, the more they feel like they actually trust your business. They feel more part of your brand. So Posting on Wine Cafe actually did this hospital grade, non-toxic, food contact safe, no rinse required. So how they clean their business, the measures they're taking, everything like that. Don't be afraid to show that online. It's going to save you a buttload of time when you're responding back to comments and reviews if they have any questions. And more importantly, it's going to show your true self and what your business is all about as well. Now, I know we touched on user-generated content a little bit earlier, but when we're thinking about videos and we're thinking about content, one thing I love to say, and I've been saying this recently, is your Instagram feed, sorry, cannot do all the work. It can't. It just cannot. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think I know a lot of people that are really sifting through their Instagram feed right now and liking a lot of pictures. You know, everyone's intention is it's on your Instagram stories. The reason why is because they're easier to look at, they're digestible, they're bite-sized. And more importantly, people just are just scrolling through content. I noticed that the other day I was talking to one of my friends and we were all on our phones and I was like, what are y'all looking at? We're all like Instagram. But nobody was liking any pictures. And if you've ever seen this recently, and I think I've seen this with some businesses saying, hey, you can go back and like a few of our posts, that would be great. We've seen like, people not liking our content, things like that, which is fine. But if you really want to make sure you're getting your audience's attention, make sure you're in Instagram stories. More importantly, make sure you're reposting your Instagram stories using that great user generated content as well. So I love Diego Pops right here. They're in these great examples. Tacos for Tatas, supporting all Tatas, breast cancer awareness. If you're leaning into that, Breast Cancer Awareness Month was just in October. So a customer posted this. They wanted to get more awareness out and they used a great hashtag as well. So I like this as well, supporting local businesses, one skinny margarita at a time. So remember, when you're reposting this engaging content, when you're reposting your users' content, that's going to make your future customers and your existing customers, oh, they actually pay attention to content that we post. They're actually looking at these hashtags. I'm going to start going in, I'm going to start making sure I take better photos. Next thing you know, you're going to have people like standing at curbside taking photos of their food before they go home, maybe in your restaurant standing on chairs. I've seen it before and it will happen, but really make sure that your audience knows that you reshare your photos and how they can do that as well. So one of my favorite things that I love about Instagram, and only Instagram does this right now, is your Instagram highlights. So how many of us as business owners, we get asked questions like, what are your specials for this month or this week? How much does this cost by the pound? Do y'all do catering? Are y'all open? Do y'all do curbside pickup still? I'm sure all of y'all get asked all these questions frequently, I'm sure. The thing I love about Instagram highlights is it takes what you've put in your stories, because your stories only last for 24 hours, and it houses it in your Instagram highlights right here at the bottom that you can see. So I love this example from Postino Wine Cafe. They have healthy and safety update that they always constantly update with new regulations, new things that are happening at their business. Curbside pickup, cooking at home, and also events. They have a few more, but these are things that they're constantly doing, constantly working on. And so if you want to make sure that you're keeping your audience updated without you having to do more work, make sure that when you're posting in stories, it's sacred content. It's content that's going to be valuable to your audience. And when that content is almost done, put that into a highlight and you can section it out into different sections that are going to make sense for your business and your local community as well. So again, user-generated content, just something easy to use. More importantly, using that camera icon as well, letting people know, who took the photo as well. So just making sure that you're giving credit to where credit is due, and more importantly, you're asking for that permission to reuse that content as well. Except when it comes to retweets, you can just retweet. But when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, you have to literally ask that user, hey, can I borrow that content? I know you took it in our restaurant, but we'd love to repost on our social media sites. I love when that happens because you actually start a dialogue with your customers on social media. Who would have thought social media having a dialogue? But it gives you that chance to have a real meaning behind it. And more importantly, it lets people know that you're still there as well. You're like, hello, we're here. We're not just automated. We are people behind these social media sites.
And Jeffrey, is it required for people to ask if you can use their content too? Like what's the general rule there?
So it's not required, but I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend just asking that customer, because one, let's say like you post it and they're like, oh, I don't want that picture up there. Like, can you please take that down? It doesn't happen a lot, but the biggest reason why you do want to ask ultimately is because you start that dialogue between you and that customer. And more importantly, it makes you seem authentic, and also it keeps them, it raises more brand awareness and it makes your customer feel like they're part of the brand as well. Because like, let's say Franklin barbecue, which would never happen. I would scream if that happened. They saw one of my photos. I also had to be a good photographer too. That's not going to happen. And let's just say I took a great photo at a restaurant and a business owner got in touch with me, or their social media person. People may not think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal, because that's you asking a customer, hey, out of all the people that have been in our restaurant this week today, we loved your photo. Can we reuse that?
Yeah.
It just gives you that great conversation start. And more importantly, it instills that trust with that customer too. It's like, hey, they're real. They're not, just another local business. They're a business that, took time out of their day to get engaged with me.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay.
And another thing to that is when you're trying to finish strong and you're trying to, also begin a great new year in 2021, socially selling, I've been loving to say socially sell just because with social media, that's essentially what you're doing, but don't be afraid to feature new menu items as well. And one of my favorite trends that I've been seeing, and especially with bars, and especially when they make good cocktails, is they give you like a little glimpse into how they kind of make it. Maybe that's just them doing like a finishing touch with the lime, or maybe that's them salting the rim, or maybe that's a restaurant they're slapping down like a nice piece of fish or something. Then that just really gives you like, oh wow, they're coming out with a new menu item. But more importantly, if you put in the ingredients or maybe like some key things that you put in there, it lets your audience know the new things that your business has to showcase and offer as well. And you can do that with a video. I suggest doing it with a video just because it's more engaging. But another thing that you can do is also do Facebook videos as well. And one thing I love about this is this business actually really, really leans in on Throwback Thursday. Um, if you're looking for things to get engaged with, especially hashtags, don't be afraid of Throwback Thursday. You all have one. When you first bought your business, when you first got that first dollar bill, when you hired your first employee, you know, those things like that. Don't be afraid to celebrate those Throwback Thursdays, but more importantly, it gives your customers something to look forward to, and especially in a video. But yeah, this business is famous for doing their Facebook videos. And one thing that you have to also look at is you're probably thinking, Jeffrey, these only getting like 12, 8, 20 likes, but we're really looking at the views. That's what you're really looking at for your engagement here. Remember, your engagement is key always. That is never going to fall. You want to make sure that you're not just posting content for the sake of posting. You're posting content that's going to really get engaged with your audience members, because you want to make sure you're posting that great content, but also more importantly, getting engaged with them. And another way to do that is right here, showing great customer service on social media. Now, how many of us, you can let us know in the chat box, are responding to our reviews on social media? And you can let us know, raise your hand, or not raise your hand, but okay. A few of us are. Good, good. Love it. Okay. So I'm going to be honest, respond to every single review. And I will stick with that until I am blue in the face. I know some people don't like to, you don't have time to. But even if it's a simple thank you, we can't wait to see you next time, you want to make sure you're responding to these reviews. And the reason why I say that is because think about this, you're not posting for the sake of posting, okay? But this review, it's great Jim left a 5-star review, but this isn't just about Jim. This is about every other future customer that's looking for a place to go eat, and they're deciding if they want to go with your business or somewhere else. So always respond to your reviews. I don't care if they're 10 years old, 6 minutes old, whatever, but always find time to respond to those reviews. And they don't have to be long, lengthy responses. Be your genuine self. Don't use bad language, but be yourself. And, lean into those great positive reviews. And when you get those not so great positive reviews, take that as just a learning experience. And I know it's hard not to take it personal sometimes, but at the same time, they're just sharing their feedback. And when you respond to that feedback, they're probably like, wait, what? The business owner responded back to my review. So always take time to respond back to that review.
Well,
But
and I will say too, Jeffrey, during COVID, I know that we've had some issues, frankly, of people writing these negative reviews, and it's through no fault of the restaurant, right? Like they've had fewer staff, or it's just been a harder issue. Like, and I will tell you, if you have any of those issues and you're a restaurant member of TRA, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help work through that. We have great contacts over at Yelp and Google and TripAdvisor. And so if you're receiving any kind of negative comments and you need a little more leniency, let us know, and we're happy to go to bat for you as well.
and and like I said, I think I saw in the chat somewhere said it's been a little bit harder to keep up with COVID. And like you were just saying, people have been, sharing not so many great positive reviews. Yeah, definitely make sure that you're leaning into these resources that we're all providing, especially webinars like these, to learn how to respond back to them. But more importantly, also know when to take a review offline. I don't mean like take it offline where people can't see. I mean, how to transition that conversation to over the phone or over email, but then still respond back publicly to show that you've resolved that situation. So just like an example like this with a positive review, good social distancing between tables made for a no tension meal. The bolognese was terrific, as was my wife's salmon. As always, their Greek salad was fantastic, great service, nice lively atmosphere, and the food is still top notch. Can't wait to get back. So the owner responded. He said, Michael, I love how this starts. The reason why I love this is because they used the first name. Michael, we're thrilled you came to see us for such a delicious meal. Our team loves serving up the entrees you love. The bolognese is the favorite for sure. Sprinkling back in that little breadcrumb that Michael left about the bolognese. Come back and visit us again kindly, L'Amour Italian Restaurant. So responding back, but also look at this, 817 and then 924. Respond when you can. It's hard to respond to reviews. And more importantly, you want to make sure you're responding in your voice and also that you're not rushing that response. Because the last thing you want to do is, respond back. And especially if it's a negative review and you can't take back what you said. I mean, people have probably already seen it. So definitely make sure that you're responding and you're taking your time to respond back to these reviews. So a not so 5-star review. 1 star left on August 22nd. Going to also notice and jump down just a little bit that you see that they responded back 2 days later within 48 hours. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. But just really quick, was just there on a weeknight to meet a new friend. Or I first sat down at the table, ignored for 10 minutes. It was a slow night. I've worked in the industry for years. This place was overly staffed for sure. The number of tables of patrons present. Bartender made a visual eye contact with me at least 3 times. Not once did she help to inform the waiting staff. 2 servers who made contact with me while tending to the other 4 parties, and the entire place ignored me. It wasn't until my 2 friends arrived that someone finally shows up. And yeah, I know I could have flagged someone down, but I can fix myself drinks at home. I went out for service and interaction, which was non-existent as I, an Asian male, sat there being ignored by multiple members of staff. So this one is a little, you have to walk this one with a fine line. So this is a great example of how to actually take this kind of review and carry it offline. And I mean, by offline, I mean not erasing the review, but I mean actually taking the review offline in a different way. So we're sorry you didn't have the best experience. We strive to make our guests feel welcome, appreciated, and satisfied with amazing food and fantastic service. I would like to discuss your recent visit. Please reach out to me directly at Tony. So Tony actually gave his personal email address, not, an info at. So when situations like this arise, know when to take it offline. Just because you're not responding to it and resolving that situation right then and there doesn't mean you're not resolving it. You are resolving it by making sure that you're taking this offline. So definitely make sure that you're doing that. So it's really, really important that you're doing this, when to take that offline as well. And also when to pay attention if it's useful, funny, or cool. Always paying attention to those as well. So a negative review. And sometimes you don't like seeing these because you're like, oh, so disappointed. You're like, come on. But they've been a longtime customer at CB and CB. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but 2 stars. So again, I'm sorry to hear about your recent experience. We are always working on ways to improve in kitchen and efficiency and execution of our recipes. Hope that you'll consider giving us another try soon. Please reach out to me at tony@sq1c.com to discuss your recent experience. Again, knowing to take it offline. Maybe they've gotten a few negative ones. They've gotten to, a routine of how to take them offline, how to neutralize it. But really make sure you have a system in place. And yes, some can sound like a canned response, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're getting that point across of you responding, you're acknowledging that review, and you're showing that great customer service as well. So we mentioned this a little bit earlier, and by we, I mean me, because there's no one else here. Practice social customer care. Social customer care, and I love this example with Hotel Valley Ho. Treat your palate with one of our craft cocktails at Zuzu, like the Old Man plus the 5 C's, made with local AZ distilling, Commerce Gin. Join us for a dine-in service or easily bring the libations home to you for your mason jar cocktails. So you're probably thinking this is just another post. It is, but at the same time, they're letting you know a few things. They're letting you know what's in the cocktail, what it's made with. More importantly, that you can also take it home. So that's a big thing. Remember, still in the midst of COVID, some people are choosing to stay home. Some people are dining in. but you still want to make sure that you're offering both to your customers as well, especially with the holidays fast approaching. Halloween is a holiday, but I'm like looking at like Thanksgiving and Christmas with all the food and the libations and then things like that. So our last way to finish strong in 2020, and then of course enter 2021 with a home run, is foolproof your advertising strategy without breaking the bank. So you've got to begin with that broad objective. And I think we I think we can say this out loud as local businesses, as restaurants. We want to create more brand awareness. More importantly, we want to get more people through our doors or, using our services, ordering our food. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right about that, or becoming clients of ours. But you definitely want to begin with that big, broad objective. And you're probably thinking, Jeffrey, but every time I think about goal setting, I think about, the 1, 2, my New Year's resolution. Begin with the big, broad objective as a business. You want to make sure you're getting money and you're making sure that you're engaging with your customers and you're also satisfying those customers as well. So you've got to think about that. And the way to do that is of course, posting great content, having that great organic content strategy, but more importantly, putting your social media advertisements where your audience is going to be. So I used the example, Hanks in Austin. I actually went there a couple of weeks ago for brunch, I think it was. Yeah, it was brunch. Really good food. One thing I do love about Hanks is I love their two hashtags they use constantly. It's happier Hanks and Hanks Hounds. Because I feel like I moved to Texas from Georgia, and I feel like everyone here when I moved to Texas has a dog. And I'm like, I've got to get a dog. And so I don't got to get a dog just for that reason. But it's one of those things where you see everyone in Austin or everyone in Texas with a dog. But I love they included that in their hashtags because they're like, hey, the pups, they're part of it too. So there's some goal metrics that you want to look for when you're looking at your advertising strategy. Your fan count, you got to take note of where it started, where you want it to go. And I'm not saying people can't get another 1,000 followers or you can't reach the 10,000 to get the swipe up function, but let's be realistic with our goals. So look at your fan count, look at your page and post impressions. These should be your goal metrics that you're looking at. Your post reach, what is your post actually reaching? And link clicks. I always have to slow down on that one because I always feel like I'm saying something totally different. So you also want to make sure that when you're looking at your profile, you're looking at your local business on social media, do your profiles have the right link? Is that a reservation link? Is that for catering options for the upcoming holidays? What link do you want there that's going to drive more business for you? But also, when you think about it, drive more community for you as well. So how can you build that bigger community while also having a link that's going to drive more business as well? So maybe that's just your website, like I said, catering. Maybe that is also, you're doing charity through the holiday season. Maybe that's, donating cans to sign up, different things like that. Or maybe you're taking Venmo, different things like that. So just make sure that you have these goal metrics in place. More importantly, that you have these basics down as well, and you're looking to strive towards these. So the biggest thing when you're thinking about your advertisements is how to craft that great content. So you want to think about, what are you going to post? The first thing that you have to think about with your advertising strategy is the content you're going to put out there. So the one thing I want us to look at are events, specials, discounts, or promotions. That's what you should be really advertising when you think about putting money behind your content, your advertising. It should be the events, specials, discounts, and promotions that you have going on. With the holiday season going on, that should be everything that you should be promoting. Catering, box lunches, box desserts, cocktails, anything that you can help make your audience members' life easier, promote it. And even if it's a special, you've been running it for years, zhuzh it up a little bit, do a video, create a cooler graphic, use Over to create a cool graphic for yourself. That's Over. Great app that you can use, does pretty much all the work for you. I'm not going to lie to you. I use it a lot. But the thing is of course, with those goals, that's when you're going to start seeing your results. So you definitely want to make sure that you're crafting great content. More importantly, that your content you're going to put out there for you to advertise is going to just be about your events, your specials, your promotions, or discounts that you have coming up. And what I would do is look at the next 3 months and, kind of plan out that content for there. So Thanksgiving, maybe Black Friday meals, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And this is just another great example of, what that advertising shot should look like. because you have to have that call to action, and that's the book now, reserve your spot, things like that. Those always get me. I don't know about y'all, but I just bought a rug for $42 and I shouldn't have. Um, all because this rug company got me. I've been thinking about rugs and looking at them, and I finally pulled the trigger. So that's
Was,
one thing.
was
Yep.
it readable?
It, yes, it actually was.
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel judged a
Kill
little.
it.
No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, it'll get you. And so really make sure that you have that great picture, that's maybe laying on the side of Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. But really make sure you have that great call to action, because this food is calling my name, and we're not in Scottsdale, but it makes me want to go get oysters right now. So definitely make sure that you have an enticing picture. You have a little blurb, but most importantly, you have that great call to action as well. So you always want to deploy and target locally. And this, as I say this, and this is going to kind of be the same. But one thing that you want to look at is location. Well, a couple of things you want to look at: location, age, interest, and demographics. So location, let's say that I'm a restaurant here. I was going to say in Austin, but I didn't want to. I'm a restaurant in, let's say, Atlanta. And I know we're in Texas, but let's say I'm in Atlanta, but I've noticed a bunch of people from outside of Atlanta coming to my restaurant. So I would want to target people that are in the suburban areas around my restaurant. So you could target, 50, 60 miles, wherever you kind of see people coming from. That's where you can, target. And I would target like a couple of counties over, at least 20, 30 miles out, where you think people would reasonably drive from. But also the cool thing I love about when you're setting up your ads is the age that you can look at. You can look at, your boomers, your Generation Z, your millennials, parents. You can really look at and figure out, their age group, and really make sure you're targeting it. Now, the interests. If you haven't set up advertisements before, one of my favorite things, and it might sound creepy, but whatever, is the interest part. Let's say that like you were interested in something, and like let's say like an interest of yours was like margaritas and happy hour, something to that effect. You could search for interests while you're doing your advertisement. You can make sure that people that you're targeting those type of people. So you can really make sure that you're really pinpointing the people that you want to target. More importantly, that you want people to see your business. So if you want to get more people that love margaritas, or more people that are runners, you can literally look at all these. I'm going to show you in just a second, and also your demographics. Of course, where they're from, age, sex, education, different things like that. You can break that down on your Facebook advertising strategy. So you can target people that have just graduated college, that are in high school. If you have like a teen night or something for pizza, if they do accelerated reader. I know that I did accelerated reader and I ate a lot of pizza. So now this is kind of where you can dial into your audience when you're looking at your Facebook advertising strategy. You can create a new audience, or you can do a saved audience. So you can look at the location, the age, gender, the detailed targeting. That's what I was just talking about, like their interests, their behaviors, what they like, their music. That's a big one. If you can find out what type of music people like, hey, you're in. Languages, connections, different things like that. And so this is kind of where it breaks down. I just want to show you all a zoomed in view of that. Is, of course, United States. You can look at the ages, gender, but the demographics, this is where it also breaks it down. You can look at education, the work, home, generation, parents, anything like that, and then also their interest as well. So Facebook is able to break that down for you, and some of your or the other social media sites can do that as well. So don't be afraid to use those, and more importantly, don't be afraid to you know, to get engaged with your audience. Ask them what they like and don't like. I know that may sound like trivial, but ask your customers what they do and don't like. Ask them about your content. Ask them if this is working. Like, hey, do you like Instagram stories? Do you like Twitter? Ask them these questions. That's going to help you out in the long run. And more importantly, it's going to help your customers identify with you and connect with you even more. I mean, I know I would. So no one judge me right now. This is my Instagram handle. If you want to follow me on Instagram, go for it. I will follow you back. But no one judge me right now. I haven't posted in a while either. I post stories more, just like we were talking about. So you want to figure out your audience. Is it right for you on Instagram? I get asked this question a lot. Jeffrey, when should we post on social media? Should I post it this time or this time? I could honestly sit here, I could come with a slide and we could say, this is the best time to post. This is a great time to post. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's not gonna work for all of you because each and every one of your businesses is different. You bring something unique and interesting and amazing to the table. So why would you all post at 3 o'clock for happy hour? It doesn't make sense. So the best way for you to figure it out is to look at your insights. And you can pull up your Instagram profile. I encourage you to pull out your phones. I hope you've been following along on your cell phones probably, or looking at your business pages as we've been going along. You click in these, if you go to your Instagram profile, your business profile, you click in the right top hand corner. This little menu will pop up. I have a lot of saved photos. I do shop on Instagram. Uh, but you look at your insights where this yellow arrow is pointing, and then it pulls up your insights. I can see who unfollowed me, not who technically unfollowed me, with the number, how many people followed me. But the thing I love about my metrics on Instagram is the audience. I can see what age group follows me, the women, the men. But more importantly, y'all, I love this feature. Like on Thursdays, I can see that people are more prone to get engaged with my content from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So you don't have to do all this research and do all this hard posting and trying to figure out day after day, week after week, what's going to work and not work for your business. The answer is right here. So if you're posting consistently, you're posting enough and you're bearing that content, you're going to get a true answer of when you should and should not post and how often you should be posting as well. And of course, the things that are going to matter the most are your reach, your reviews, and your engagement rate. When you're looking for your quantitative reasoning or your ROI, if you will, behind your advertising and just behind when you post, these are going to be your three metrics that you should always, always look at is reach. You're looking at mentions, reviews, and also your engagement rate. Those are the three things that you want to really look at. And I know we have about like 3 minutes left, but I'm definitely here for the questions and I want to make sure that I'm answering all of your questions as well. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, the chat box. I'm here to answer your questions, and however long y'all want to stay on, we can answer those questions.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. This has been really amazing. And thank you so much, everyone, for adding to the comments in the chat window. It's been really helpful as well over there. So definitely be chatting over there. So we have a couple questions. Let's start with Mark's question. His company, Late Travis Pizza, yum. Now I know why you said pizza day is every day, Mark. Being busy and open another location, should we hire a social media person to handle the advertising and social media positive, negative reviews? They want to be proactive in their business and truly create a flow of info and attention to their customers. And they also want to find some influencers. So it sounds like they have a lot of really good goals. And it looks like they're expanding into 2 locations. So do you think they should hire someone?
If you don't have a dedicated person, I'm going to be honest, I would hire a social media person. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is a salaried, usually a salaried position. Or if you're lucky enough, I mean, UT, you can probably find a UT intern to possibly do the work for you. But I'm not going to lie, that's going to be the type of work, I guess, if you will, that you're going to get, or I feel like that makes sense. Yes.
Yes, it makes total
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
And actually, I would recommend to not just UT. I mean, as a Texas State University grad, I
Yeah.
would also say look to the South because there are some great people that you can get that way too. There are some, I mean, especially if you're looking to hire an intern, look at grad students. You know, many grad students in the business program are fantastic at this, or the marketing program at UT or Texas State or St. Ed's or any of the wonderful universities, not just in Central Texas, but also around the state. I would also highly recommend maybe looking at University of Houston and a few of the other hospitality schools. They especially kind of train their people on how to work social and marketing from a hospitality perspective. So yes, hire. And if you don't have a lot of budget, definitely look at hiring interns from the university.
Hmm.
Um,
And
and then Rachel has a follow-up question to that, Jeffrey, on like
okay.
what point should you hire a social media person? Like what are some of the clues that it's time for that?
Ah, so some clues that I tell business owners to look at is you look at your last post. If it's been more than a couple of months on all platforms, you might want to look into someone. If you're starting to get overwhelmed with comments and just general social media tasks, as far as like coming up with captions, making sure you have a calendar, making sure if you have promotions, they've already been synced up, they're going to be promoted on social media. There's nothing you need to really worry about. Um, if you can do all that, then you're good. But if you're starting to feel like a little bit overwhelmed with social media keeping up, then yes, it's time to hire someone. It's time to look into hiring a person for your social media needs.
Yeah, great tips, really great tips. And then we've got some other questions in the Q&A window too. I'll look
Okay.
over here. Okay, Vicky is asking, how long should a video be? And that is a hard one to answer because the platforms are so different. But
Ex-
Jeffrey, you want to try?
exactly. Yeah. So I get this question and I laugh at this and not at you, but at me because the the best way to do video is go ahead and just film it on your phone. And if you like, let's say you upload it to Instagram stories, it'll automatically dissect it for you into 15-minute increments. That's done. That's easy. I say keep videos no longer than a minute to 2 minutes, almost like when you think of a radio spot in those kind of increments. I used to do radio spots for my 4-H back in Georgia for different things we were doing. So that's how I know. But 30 seconds, a minute, minute 32. If you're doing something longer than that, go live. You
Yeah.
know, go live on Facebook. I don't care if you have kids, if they're screaming, if they're running around, that's what makes your business so unique and so you is when you show those real things. So if you feel like you're going to go longer, or if you just want to do a Q&A, go live on social media. It may be scary at first, but I'm telling you, it'll be so much fun.
Yeah, that's great. We have some other questions, and I know, Jeffrey, do you have a few more minutes to
Yes, I'm here for y'all.
wonderful. So Heather is from Perini Ranch, and she was asking that she says they're so close to 10,000 followers. Congratulations, Heather, on getting
Yes,
so close. That's
Heather.
awesome. And she's asking, what is the best and quickest way to reach her goal for the year? A contest? What else would you suggest?
So I'm not at 10,000 followers. I wish I was, because when that happens, and I'm going to get to the answer, you usually get the swipe up function, which is beyond, because you can link, you can do orders, you can do it all. That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, the thing that I would do, and I've seen influencers do this, is they get online, they're like, hey guys, we're so close to 10,000 followers. If we hit 10,000, we'd love to run a contest. So you can do like a gift card, which people love gift cards, especially around the holiday time. So position it that way as well. But have a few rules to enter the contest. Have it, they follow you, of course, but if they don't mind, share one of their favorite posts from your profile, or share share to their story. So that way they don't have to put it on their actual profile. It's just on their story and it's gone within 24 hours. So that would be the biggest idea that I would say, is do a contest, maybe do a raffle, but have people share um, your profile to their Instagram story, and you can show them. It's not hard. You just do like your profile. I'm gonna actually do it on my phone right now, because I know we're in a webinar and I know we're talking, but the only thing you would have to do is you can take a screenshot, or you can just share it to your story, and it's not that hard. But yeah, I would definitely suggest that if you want to get to 10K, I would do that, and
Yeah,
especially
just
on the
be
holidays,
honest with
getting.
them. Yeah, they'll help you, I think. And the contest idea is a great one. There's so many good contest ideas out there. And Joni is asking, should videos be horizontal or vertical? And that is a great
Ah,
too.
so that is a great question, because um, when you do vertical, sometimes you always it just won't do it. So you just have to turn your phone horizontal. So I always suggest, if you're gonna, it depends on what you're doing. If you're gonna do like a video, and the video is gonna be able to be blown up on the screen, then I would just do like a vertical video. But if you know that it's going to be, or no, a horizontal video. But if you're going to do it in your feed, I would do vertical, because it's just going to be in your feed. But if you're doing it outside of your feed, then I would do horizontal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And then Casey, this is sort of an easy question, I think, in my mind. Casey's
mhm.
asking, they purchased an older business and there are two Facebook pages created. How can they merge the two pages?
Oh yeah. The only thing you have to do is just you just have to get in contact, I think, with Facebook. There's
Mhm.
like a simple measure, and they can do it for you. Just let them know which one you want it merged to, and that way you won't lose any followers or fans or anything like that. You keep it all in one. But I would definitely suggest doing that, is merging them.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try to manage them. Definitely merge them.
Mm-mm. And one thing I did want to note is, we were talking about video just now, and I forgot to tell you all this. Did y'all know, I think it's like 63%, 63 or 68% of videos are being listened to on mute. So if you're on like stories, if you're just watching a video through your feed, usually your customers have that on mute. So if you haven't thought about adding subtitles to your videos or adding like a little blurb below it, I would do so because more than likely your customers are watching the video on mute and not on loud.
And then how do they do the subtitles, Jeffrey?
Subtitles, you can usually add those, like if that's usually through like Vimeo or YouTube, if you're going to do it through that type of platform. But if it's like on your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I would just do a little blurb as your caption of what the video is about. And usually people, they'll press for it for more sound or turn it up if they want to hear more. But
Perfect.
yeah, we were talking about this a couple of days ago and I did some research, and yeah, a lot of people do not watch videos on loud because usually they're in public spaces. So, they don't want to it'd be too loud and they're like, oh, this guy's just screaming or a chainsaw is going off in the background and people
Right.
are just staring at you.
Right. Or when you open TikTok during a meeting and then people know what you're looking at because they heard your
Exactly.
songs.
They know.
Okay, one more question I'll ask you, and then we're going to have to close it. Anna is asking thoughts on hashtags and Instagram. Do you put them in the caption or in a separate comment? I usually do the separate comment, Anna,
Mhm.
so that it's not as messy. It's easier to read. But Jeffrey, what do you think?
I will ditto that. I usually do in first comment, but I also do, if it's one important or a couple of branded hashtags, I'll do it within the post.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm going to usually do that in the first comment or do some dots and then write it in there. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're doing that.
Exactly, exactly. Cool. Well, this has been really educational and full of great ideas. Jeffrey, thank you again so much for making
Yes.
the time to do this with us. And we had
Yes.
tons of great people in the chat. And like I said, everyone who registered, you're going to receive an ebook from Jeffrey and GoDaddy that'll be really helpful as well for your planning. If you have any other questions, I did drop our email addresses in the chat. So be sure to go and see those. Jeffrey is very, very helpful. So please reach out to him. His team is fantastic.
Yes. Y'all
Jeffrey,
reach out to us.
anything else before we go?
No, the only thing I wanted to say is just thank you all for attending. Y'all have been an amazing audience. I love doing webinars with Texas Restaurant Association. We have 2 more in this series. Can't wait for the next one. It's gonna be all about e-commerce. So get ready, get excited, get pumped. Um, we hope you all are going to register for that webinar. And again, if you have any questions, email me. I will try to respond back as soon as possible. But again, try one of these tips out this week, maybe next week. But again, have fun with social media. You're just being social. And remember, just be yourself, just have fun. And I cannot wait to see you all at our next webinar. And I hope you all have a great Thursday and a great rest of your week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.